In 1959, Pete Rozell's league gained some unexpected competition. A group of businessmen eager to get into the pro game decided to create a new professional entity, the American Football League. The AFL owners recognized there were new cities and television markets eager to embrace pro football. And the man who would bring that game to those TV sets was a creative young ABC sports producer named Roone Arledge.
We were able with the AFL, because it was brand new, and they were willing to almost let us do anything, to do some things that we probably couldn't have done if we had had the NFL at that time. And so we were trying to get inside the game and have people at home have the real experience, what it was like to be on the field and how hard these guys hit each other and how fast they were and all the rest of it.
Arledge's sound and visual innovations truly gained national attention during the AFL's first sudden death game, the 1962 League Championship.
They said, now down to the field and Jack Buck. And Jack was standing on the field on the 50-yard line with the referee.
It's sudden death now. Whoever receives the ball, and we'll start all over again. You understand that? You have your choice, of course, receiving or kicking.
We will kick to the clock.
You're going to kick?
Yes.
To the clock.
Right.
Dallas won the toss.
Well, I tell you, over on that Dallas bench, they're going wild, Kurt. They don't know what's going on. Abner Haynes elected to kick off with a club, and I'm sure that's not the unanimous opinion of the bench over there.
Kicking against the wind.
AFL coverage went against the wind and against some standards of existing sports programming. In the early 60s, the NFL didn't broadcast any games in a city when teams played at home, and the upstart league took advantage.
The NFL made a major mistake when they were blacking out the home games, the Giants, the Eagles, the Lions, the Redskins, and leaving Sunday afternoons open sometimes late in the afternoon. And ABC would run this 4 o'clock game in from the AFL. That's the only game you could see. They had an open market. It was like letting a vacuum salesman in the door on a Sunday. And, you know, they let those fellas in. They're pretty good.
But in 1964, trouble loomed in New York when the NFL gained the richest sports contract in broadcast history.
The National Football League signed a deal with CBS, and it brought each NFL team about $900,000 per year. And this was in many ways considered to be kind of the death knell for the AFL, because we were making around $125,000 per team, and obviously we couldn't compete if the National Football League was going to have $900,000 a year income. So Sonny Werblin and Joe Foss, who was the commissioner of the AFL, had a series of meetings with Carl Lindemann and others at NBC and negotiated a deal which put each AFL team on near parity with the NFL teams.
NBC continued many of ABC's innovations in their league telecasts, while hiring away such on-air talent as original AFL announcer Charlie Jones.
There were no surprises this week in the AFL as all the favorites won. But most of the wins did not come easily. Joe Namath has not thrown a touchdown pass.
Jones and other broadcasters benefited from NBC's innovative approaches. The production staff rewrote the rules governing pro football coverage while adapting to the AFL's wide-open style.
So many of the advances that took place in the way football was covered for television happened as a result of the American Football League. Those games had a pioneer duo doing them, Curt Gowdy and Paul Chrisman. And Chrisman was a very, very different analyst than anybody we'd ever heard before. He was willing to be critical. He had an amazing ability to take what had always been given to us as complexity, make it sound like real language. Those were all key things because they were happening at the time that the public was making this huge leap from having had baseball as the American pastime to now making a full-body decision that football was their national game. And I like to think that Gowdy and Chrisman were huge in that regard.
I believe the early days in trying to build something like the American Football League were times that will never again be created. They can't. We were literally inventing how sport should be covered on a daily basis.